37-year-old Melissa Town drove her child to the ER Sunday. She asked for help. When a nurse walked out to her car, she found the little girl's body wrapped in a laundry bag. Neighbors have spoken out saying they had noticed the mother's previous strange behavior.
Welcome back, and thanks for being here. I'm Cassie, and this is A Wicked World. The story I have for you today is about a little girl whose mother displayed pretty much every red flag that you could think of, showing that she was absolutely incapable of caring for a child. But for some reason, one day in October of 2022, this mother had her daughter in her care, and things did not end well. This is the story of Nichole Bradshaw. Nichole Chanel Bradshaw was born on June 28, 2017, to her mother, Melissa Town, and her father, James Bradshaw Jr., in Magnolia, Texas. She was a very happy-go-lucky little girl who was curious and full of love and giggles. Nichole also loved animals of all kinds, and she would even step around ants on the ground to make sure that they didn't get hurt. Due to Nichole's mother's mental illnesses, including schizophrenia, she had lost custody of Nichole when she was just a baby. The little girl had only been a few weeks old when in July of 2017, her mother reported that the infant was speaking to her. Melissa was then placed into a psychiatric hospital during child services investigation, and Nichole went to live with her father and paternal grandmother and grandfather. Melissa was later given visitation with Nichole and was allowed to have her daughter on the weekends. Though during one visit, the mother would take the baby and lock herself inside the bathroom, refusing to come out. Melissa would later go on to have 3 more children, all of whom were removed from her custody and sent to live with family. Then in May of 2018, Melissa would be placed under arrest for harassing Kathy Bradshaw, James's mother. She had sent her a variety of vulgar and incoherent messages arguing over Nichole's custody. Kathy reported receiving 49 text messages from Melissa over the course of only 4 hours. And even though the grandmother did not reply back to any of these, they left her feeling rather uneasy and worried for her and Nichole's safety. One rambling and rather difficult message to read that Melissa had sent to Kathy on the morning of May 12th read, "Where is Chanel, Kathy? Because y'all really need to either give her back to the hospital or y'all need to return her back to me. You're not getting the documents, you're not getting the trucks, you're not getting the vehicles. This shit is effing bullshit. There's even an effing hospital bill. My effing mile wide between me and she knows y'all won't be able to afford. Just effing give me the baby back. Y'all were effing lose in court. I'm not even joking with you all. Effing send you the effing shit and a text message. Give me my daughter back seriously. For safety reasons, hazardous reasons, and some more shit." Whatever any of that means. In yet another text message, Melissa would brag to Kathy about her IQ, saying, "Honestly, my IQ doesn't even hit the charts. The only thing I have a little bit of trouble with is freaking spelling." Then, in yet another text, Melissa threatened to illegally obtain possession of her daughter. Due to this incident, the mother would plead guilty to harassment in October of 2018, and she would be sentenced to 45 days in a county jail. Just a few months after her release, on April 27, 2019, Melissa would show up at James's parents' home, where he and Nichole were living. She then sat on the front porch and began arguing about custody of their daughter. In the end, James and his father were able to persuade Melissa to leave without having to call the police. However, when James's father went outside the next morning, he discovered that the windshield on his vehicle had been smashed. He also recalled hearing a loud bang the night prior when Melissa had arrived. Now, when Melissa was finally able to be interviewed by detectives in regards to this incident, since at first she had refused to meet them, adamant that she was going to go to jail, Melissa admitted that she had struck the windshield with a wrench, breaking it. She later pleaded guilty to criminal mischief and was ordered to pay $803 in fines. This was not the only erratic behavior that the mother displayed either. One of Melissa's neighbors said that he had called the police on her several times and even had to put up security cameras around his home because of her. Melissa was known to walk through the neighborhood carrying various random objects, have arguments with mailboxes, and one time she even began hitting someone else's car with a baseball bat, saying that she was beating it up. An ex-coworker of Melissa's from a Denny's restaurant would say that Melissa was very unhinged and she believed that one day she would snap. According to this woman, no one who worked at the Denny's restaurant with Melissa liked her because she was so weird. One of the things that Melissa would do was go up to tables where customers were sitting and speak to them in a Minnie Mouse-like voice, as if they were children. Her strange behavior had earned her the nickname of Crazy Chick among her coworkers. There was one coworker, however, who tried to go out of her way to be nice to Melissa because she knew that she had some serious issues. But she said that Melissa then ended up text messaging her some of the weirdest shit. Things like asking the woman how she was doing, and when she didn't reply right away, Melissa just carried on the conversation by herself. Melissa also posted some very odd, rambling, long rants on her Facebook page. Many of them make no sense at all. In one post, she talks about capturing a spider that has human DNA. In another, she talks about being raped'd when she was a child by other children and saying that they put a spider in her hoo-ha. In some posts, she addresses Donald Trump like she's speaking directly to him. In another, she claims to be able to replenish her own blood. There was even a post back from 2017 where Melissa says, "I did not kill my other kids at all." Very, very bizarre posts. These posts were so strange, in fact, that in November of 2020, Child Services had been alerted to Melissa's online behavior. Relatives of Melissa's had become concerned for Nichole's newest baby sibling, whom the mother still had custody of at that point. In the end, this child would be removed from her care and placed with its father. And Melissa was then not allowed to have any access to this baby. Then, on October 6, 2022, Child Services was contacted yet again. This time, it was in regards to Nichole. They were told that the young girl, who was now, for some reason, living in an RV with both her father and mother, was covered in scars, insect bites, and reeked of urine. The little girl, who was 5 at the time, was also not enrolled in school, and she wasn't even potty trained. The person reporting this, who was a recent babysitter of Nichole's, additionally stated that the 5-year-old had complained of vaginal pain and had some discharge. Ultimately, Child Services would say they couldn't locate the family, and therefore, no further investigation into the matter took place. Just 10 days later, on October 16, 2022, Melissa drove her Jeep Grand Cherokee up to the entrance of the emergency room at HCA Tomball Hospital, where she asked a nurse for a wheelchair for her daughter. When this nurse asked Melissa what was wrong, she stated that Nichole's body was hurting her. As the nurse approached the vehicle, however, 5-year-old Nichole was found lying on the passenger side floorboard. Her head was wrapped up in a plastic trash bag, and then her body was put into a mesh laundry bag. When the nurse turned her body over, she noticed that she had laceration marks and ligature marks on her neck. Nichole would then be declared dead just moments later. Police were then contacted, and Melissa was arrested and placed into custody. A knife would also be found in her pocket at the time of her arrest. She would be charged with capital murder and then held on a $15 million bond.
Neighbors in this quiet neighborhood in Magnolia say the child lived there for a while with her father and the grandparents.
We all knew that her mother was disturbed and had issues, and we never let her, she would come in the neighborhood and try to get her, and we never let her take the baby, and we never let her see her anything. The dad let us know that there was issues, which we all knew. I mean, she used to live here, and she would talk to the trees and walk up and down the road. And
the neighbor, who wants to stay anonymous, says the neighborhood took turns caring for the child.
We all knew that something was wrong and that she was not good for her baby, so we just kept her away, and we didn't want anything to happen to her, so we tried the best we could, the neighborhood, especially our street, to protect her. But I can't imagine anyone ever doing that to a child at all. And then when you find out it's someone you know, and especially the sweet little baby that she was, it just breaks your heart.
She says the father was single, trying to make ends meet.
He loved her so much, and yeah, he struggled. You know, I mean, he was a single dad. He didn't make a lot of money. You know, we're a very close-knit family here, and she was just adorable. She's the sweetest baby, and you know, her daddy loved her to death.
While in custody, Melissa would tell authorities exactly what had happened that day. She told them that she had taken her daughter Nichole to Spring Creek Park in Tomball, Texas. While there, the two had walked into a wooded area where Melissa instructed her daughter to get down on her knees. Then, the mother pulled a knife out from her bag, and Nichole began to cry. "But I've been good." Melissa just replied, telling her daughter to stop fighting it, and then she slit her throat. This, however, did not kill Nichole, so the mother took a trash bag and placed it over her head, holding it there for 30 to 45 minutes, watching the life drain from her daughter's body. According to her, she wanted to end Nichole's life because she was an evil child and she didn't want to deal with her any longer. Not that she had to deal with her anyways, because she didn't even have legal custody. She also said that her daughter Nichole was not like other children and compared her to the horror movie doll Chucky. Melissa then went on to say that following Nichole's murder, she'd brought her to the hospital because she wanted to dispose of her. Regardless of Melissa's claims that she'd killed her daughter at Spring Creek Park, when police later went back there to search for any evidence, they were unable to find any signs of a crime scene there. There was also no evidence that Nichole had been killed inside the vehicle that her mother had driven her to the emergency room in. Now, Melissa's attorney would say that the mother had been diagnosed with schizophrenia, and she had been institutionalized at least 9 times in her life. Yet each time she had been deemed to not be a danger to herself or to others. Even though Nichole's babysitter, who'd made the report to Child Services days earlier, had said that the 5-year-old was living in an RV with her father and mother, a neighbor claimed that they'd seen Melissa living in a squatter's camp that was in Pinehurst, Texas, and this was just days prior to Nichole's death. This neighbor, whose name is Rachel Brown, said that she had also contacted the police multiple times due to her concerns for Melissa and Nichole's safety. Yet nothing had been done. Just 2 days prior to Nichole's death, her father James had been posting on social media saying that he was couch surfing. So I'm guessing that he left Nichole in her mother's care? Now, even though Melissa had confessed to all of the horrific things that she had done to her daughter Nichole, in September of 2023, Melissa Town would be found incompetent to stand trial. She would then be moved from the Harris County Jail to a psychiatric facility. She will be reevaluated again at some point in the future to see if that competency has changed. The psychologist who evaluated Melissa said that she is restorable, meaning that if she gets the treatment that she needs, she will likely be able to stand trial at some point in the future. Following her death, family members would set up a GoFundMe to help pay for Nichole's funeral expenses. Her aunt, Amber Bradshaw, wrote on the fundraising page that Nichole was too good for this earth. She was too special. She will always hold a special place in our hearts. We will always remember her as the sweetest little girl who never met a stranger. We are hoping and praying that justice will be served, and the heartless monster who took our sweet girl away from us will pay for the innocent life that she took. Well, thank you for listening to Nichole's story today. What I don't understand is why her father tried so hard for so many years to keep Melissa away from her daughter, to only then let Melissa move back in with them years later and have full access to Nichole. He knew that this little girl's mother was not right in the head at all. Though it seems that many people knew, including authoritative figures, that Melissa was completely off. Yet, this was still somehow allowed to happen. So if you like true crime and you want to hear it from me, then don't forget to hit that subscribe button below and turn on those notifications too, so you'll know when I upload a new video, which is at least 3 times every single week. Thanks for watching A Wicked World today. Until next time, take care guys. Bye. Thank you to all the patrons of A Wicked World. Now, there's even more of A Wicked World on Patreon, so check it out on patreon.com/awickedworld, or use the Patreon app. You'll have access to exclusive videos each month and more. Any support truly helps to make sure the victims are never forgotten, and to highlight the shortcomings of society associated with each case. Do you have a suggestion for a story you'd like to see me cover? If so, send me an email to awickedworldtruecrime@gmail.com.